Hi, everyone, and welcome to Walter's Wives and Woes.
I'm Shelby.
And I'm Marissa, and we are the Walters Girls.
I'm Shelby. I've been married to my husband for 2.5 years. We actually met right before COVID. We had like two normal dates and then the country shut down. So that was interesting. We had to be creative, like with our dates. And then we got married in June of 2022. And then we actually got pregnant right after my dad passed, or right, I don't know, it was that week. I am a school teacher, and that's a whole story in itself as well, because I don't have a degree in education. My bachelor's is actually in applied health science with a minor in gerontology. And then I have a master's degree in public health administration. So my sister and I actually have very similar masters. And somehow we both ended up in school districts. But I have been teaching for 7 years now. This is my 7th year. I teach high school life sciences, so like biology and anatomy and med science and environmental science. I love my job, but my job is draining, and it's even more draining now that I have a child. So I constantly am struggling with wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, but also wanting to have an identity outside of being a mom. We recently moved in town. We're a minute from my sister and like 30 seconds from my mom. My husband is getting used to it. He prefers living in the country. I love living in town. One of the main reasons why we moved to town was because my husband travels a lot for work. He buys and sells timber and then exports it. So he travels a lot for work. And so I also have the struggle of feeling like I'm a single mom a lot of the times. And I'm not complaining about that because my husband makes good money and has allowed me to have this wonderful life, but it's hard. Um, so yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So, a little bit about me, Marissa. I am the youngest of the three of us. So, Shelby's the oldest. We have a middle brother, Chase, and then there's me, and my parents decided, oh, we have a perfect daughter. Let's stop before we get another Chase. So, I'm 29, and I am married to my husband, Derek. We are high school sweethearts. We've been married for 8 years, together for almost 12. Valentine's Day will be 12 years, right?
Mhm. I think.
2013, yeah. So we started dating, I was 17, and he's all I've known since then.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 3 kids. My son just turned 5. His name is Jonah. My middle child is Gemma. She, yeah, she will be 3 in March, and then I just had a baby in June, and that is Marina. And my life centers around them. And I also work. I work for a local school district, um, and I am part of administration. That's what they say. But I'm actually the food service director. Um, so I am your favorite lunch lady's boss. And I love my job,
Mm-hmm.
and I love my employees. But there are definitely like struggles that come with the position that I'm in. Not only the position, but like me feeling like I'm not where I should be. I have a bachelor's in business administration, specializing in marketing, and I actually have my master's in healthcare administration.
Mhm.
And then my husband is an engineer. He loves what he does because I told him to be an engineer. You'll find out I'm very bossy. And I think I'm hilarious, and Shelby thinks I'm hilarious. And now I'm wondering, can they hear my voice over your giggles?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
That's a little bit about me. And I have 2 dogs, Benji and Copper. They were my babies before I had babies. And I don't have any hobbies. My favorite thing to do is rot on the couch. But I have 3 kids and I nurse one of them. I don't ever get to rot. So I wish I could get back to that. Yep. I got
Never gonna
about
happen.
minimum 18 years. So, but yeah, that's what I like to do. I love to watch movies, love true crime, and I love podcasts. So that's me, Marissa Coyle. Shelby is being very quiet right now. She's very tired.
I've been up since 4:45.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
to my child.
yeah, life of mothers, and that's what you're really going to experience here is us just sharing our lives and our daily struggles and triumphs and just like what it's like what it is like to navigate marriage, motherhood, all while experiencing the stages of grief.
So, do you want to tell them why you chose our name?
So, I am the mastermind behind all of this. First of all, the reason we even got started was Shelby and I were just sitting upstairs in her living room, like rotting while the kids were playing on the floor. And I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw one of my friends was starting a podcast through his church. And I looked at Shelby and I was like, we should start a podcast. Fully expecting her to say, yeah, no. And she was like, okay. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. So then I just literally hyperfixated on it. Like I have nothing else exciting going on in my life. So I just hyperfixated on starting a podcast and I couldn't fall asleep. So I consulted my business partner, Chat GPT, and typed in podcast names for 2 sisters who are married with children and going through grief. And their maiden name is Walters, blah, blah, blah. So shout out to Chat BTT. Chat GPT for choosing the name Walters Wives and Woes. Obviously, our maiden name is Walters, and we hold that very dear to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are wives.
Yep.
I've been married for 8 years, and Shelby has been married for what, 2.5?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And woes, we're just going to complain all the time. That's just what this is going to be. No, we're not going to complain all the time, but we are going to share, our struggles with grief and, how we still find happiness while experiencing the highs and lows that come with grief.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby, why don't you tell them why we have to experience grief?
We're still experiencing grief because our dad passed away a little over 2 years ago. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer.
Originally stage 3
colorectal cancer in May of 2020. And then it had migrated throughout the body and was staged 4 then. And that was about a 2.5-year battle.
Mm-hmm.
And then he eventually passed away in October of 2022. So it's been a little over 2 years since we lost him. So,
and even though we are sisters and we experienced the same thing, our perceptions of everything is still different. We are individuals. and we grieve differently. So we'll just like share aspects of that. So those are some of the things you can expect us to talk about. But we're also willing. I asked Shelby, I'm like, do you have any like hard boundaries, like what we can't talk about? And Jeremy listed a couple. So we will respect those boundaries. But Derek gave me free reins. And I told him I won't know it's a boundary until it comes out of my mouth.
And Derek might be regretting that statement.
He might, but good thing there's edits.
Yes.
So
for sure. For sure.
That's, we're really excited to do this. And I think it really just comes out of a place where we've lost ourselves in motherhood. And hey, let's do a podcast. Let's have a hobby.
Yeah, because I don't have any.
Yeah. Jeremy golfs.
My husband has lots of hobbies.
My husband goes to the gym and plays video games. So we're going to podcast.
So what we really want to know first is what is maybe the first topic you guys want us to hit on. Whether that's relationships, and relationships could be a lot of things, like your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with friends, if you're experiencing domestic violence in relationships.
And not even like DV, but like any type of abuse, because like it doesn't have to be physical.
No.
And
I've been through it all. So
yeah, like Shelby has a very unique perspective, and then I have the perspective of how do you support someone going through that? How do you see what they're going through while still being supportive and not like giving ultimatums and saying it's me or them or so yeah. We've been there.
Yes. So
and I have the experience of marrying young and having children younger, and that perspective, the financial struggles. If you don't know, Shelby's got money, I ain't got none. That's how sister relationships work. And the biggest relationship is the relationship between the two of us. We are best friends, right?
Yep. Yep.
And not a lot of sisters have that type of relationship with their sister, especially whenever they're spaced out like us. Like Shelby's 4 years older than me, and we have a brother in between.
We'll talk about him too.
Yeah, we'll talk about him. That might be a series. One episode won't be enough.
So yeah, do you guys want to hear relationships? Do you want to hear pregnancy? Do you want to hear about motherhood?
Being a working mom, because we're both working moms.
Yes, working and being a mom and the struggles of that.
Mental
illnesses, yes. If you struggle with depression or anxiety.
Same here. Yep.
Yeah, we kind of have an array of topics that we want to talk about. So for this first episode, we were kind of wanting to reach out to you guys and see like, what do you want to hear about first?
Yeah, because we're like, where do we start? Because we have, how old are you now? 33?
33.
Okay, well, I'm 29. So we have 29 years worth of wisdom to share and sisterly antics. So it's like, where do we even start? Like Shelby said earlier, just let us know what you want to hear. For now, this is Walter's Wives and Woes. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.